Another long-standing name. He had some amazing runs, amazing BlizzCon performances in Heart of the Swarm, and still one of the absolute best Protosses. I myself have not been able to watch him as much lately, so I'm really excited about this. He's still alive and well in the GSL, of course, but we don't see him in as many other events. At least I don't personally. So I'm excited for that.
I can give you some stats here for you, and he has lately been on a tear. So SSL, very recently, 2-0s alive, 2-1s innovation, 2-1s BL.
Jeez.
Dominant, like last couple of weeks. GSL Season 3, of course, we see him lose out to Bunny a couple of times. Obviously, that's his kryptonite for whatever reason, beats time. SSL, earlier than that, 2-1s Maru. Maru! 2-1 stats. Even in Shanghai, putting on great performances, dominating 4 different Protoss, including Classic. Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of impressive results, but none against Zerg, so this will be
only BL. Right? Only BL lately. So this is Rogue, who, in my eyes, is not really like anything we've seen up to this point.
Yeah.
Can you remember which Protoss Rogue beat in the IEM event?
Oh, no. I was away that weekend. I didn't get to watch very much.
I'm going to try and find out, because I would love to know. I imagine there's got to have been several, right? So bear in mind, he wins IEM Shanghai. Yeah, he wins the finals against Hero 4-1.
There you go.
That's a pretty big deal. He beats Stats in Group B, and those were the 2 Protoss that he faced. But he dominated both.
Yeah, and they're 2 of the best.
They are.
Stats probably is the best, and Hero, when he plays really well, is right up there, 2 or 3.
God damn. Somebody stop this man. I don't know how we're going to do it, but this man is going to try to the southeast position. No, that's not going to work. He lost to Innovation. Innovation lost to this guy too.
Damn it.
It's not going to work. To the southeast position. We're just going to have to try something new, a new plan. In the Red Trunks, playing Protoss, a resurgent Deer. Versus his opponent to the northwest position. In the Blue Trunks, playing Zerg, the King. And earning that title today, it's Rogue.
Yeah, we're having our own little GSL here with these players. There's not... I mean, I know you've got others, but it's like we're kind of running out of the big names.
I do have others, but yeah, it gets... the later and later it gets in Korea, the fewer and fewer Protoss I still have, the fewer Terran and Zerg from Korea I have. I got some foreigners. But Rogue's really scary right now, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
Someone out there needs to make the animation of TotalBiscuit on a street corner waving around $500 bills, just being like, hey, anyone want $500 bills? Any Protoss out there?
I just imagine me being like one of those Carney in 1910 with a little top hat and a curly mustache. Come in, fight the best of the best, folks. Yes. Come in, box with the pugilists. Pugilists from Korea, yes. King, we'll call him the King.
You think you got what it takes, huh? You think you're a big superstar then, eh?
Put him up, show up your fisticuffs. Be a man. Be a gentleman. Win $500. That'll be a lot of money back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Rogue gets pushed off the natural. Not a big deal. He's going to take his second hatch at the 3rd base spot just because of annoying probe scout. But again, this doesn't make it too weird. Now, what could get a bit weird is if it continues on. He doesn't take the 3rd, but he's going to go for speed here. He's got a queen coming out, so... This map, too, had some wonky times where players were taking the gold super fast, and Blizzard, in their wisdom... Well, no, actually, this map is the one that still has the gold. Never mind.
Still has the gold, yeah. We don't get to see a huge amount of competitive maps in the pool that still have the gold. This is, of course, the GSL versus the World pool and the Oli Moleague pool that we're using right now. Using a 5-map variant of it.
It's because gold's terrible. I get it. I like it in theory. I like that it... I mean... What Blizzard's doing, kind of like begrudgingly against what a lot of hardcore StarCraft players want, but I think I like that they're doing this, is they want map diversity. They want things like a gold base to be shocking. They want it to be like, hey, if he gets that, you're in a bad situation. So it creates desperation. Because if you just put together a pool of professional StarCraft 2 players and like, guys, make a map, you'd get Lost Temple 5 times over again. 5
you really would.
Sets. And it'd be really boring. So you got to kind of, again, the hardcore players will whine, but you got to make it interesting. So I get it. I understand.
Pros are the most whiny when it comes to map design. And obviously, it affects them a lot, so it's understandable, but simultaneously, they hate innovation. I mean, well, you know, innovation and innovation.
More ways than one.
In more ways than one, yes. Yeah, they hate the player, they hate the concept of it. If you put a gimmick on a map, they'll complain about that. If anything's non-standard, they'll complain about that. Oh, I did a tournament of non-standard maps, and people didn't even bother to show up for it. So I think that should demonstrate that.
With your infinite money now, because of the war chest...
They still won't show up for it. I can guarantee it. They'll put $10,000 on to play weird maps. They won't show up.
I'll show up. You can just make it private iNcontroL slush fund. I'll take them.
I mean, that's basically what Todd did with his recent caster tournament, right?
Yeah.
It's rigged, I tell you. Rigged. All right. So we're seeing the double Oracle again. Are we going to see the harass using that? What we saw stats do.
Yeah, they'll try. The airspace behind the bases on this map, if you notice, are a lot harder to get behind and do that. Because Queens will at least be kind of dinking and donking you. So
this is unusual. Void Ray coming out of Dia.
Still same function. It should not be multiple Void Rays. It's just to kill the Overlords that are kind of hanging out. And then the nice thing is that doubles as a, like, oh no, Lings ran by. And it'll you know, do a little bit of laser beaming.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We even saw the lasers used to take out creep tumors, and you might think, well, that sounds like a bit of a waste. Absolutely not. The more you can impede those creep tumors, the better. You don't want that creep spreading across the map so rapidly. Hold that back if you want. Void Ray will take out Overlords very effectively. It's much, much better at it than a Phoenix, in fact. It's just a bit slower. And, of course, a lot pricier. Ooh! That's some holes in the side of that Oracle right there. That'll need to be patched up later.
Yeah. Nothing a little bit of Zelnaga duct tape can't fix or whatnot.
Oh my, this is not usual.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Okay. And this is what you need, by the way. So Deer has presumably watched the other matchups and seen what Rogue is doing. Rogue is gonna go Ling, Hydra, Baneling, because that's what every Zerg does right now. So with the double Stargate, my prediction of... You know what? This is either Mass Oracle or it's Void Ray, by the way.
Yeah.
We're seeing some Mass Oracle stuff, which is really interesting.
Oh, we have the Oracles now actually backing up a run by of Adepts, which proved to be super effective. And, of course, they can fall back to the Stasis Ward right here. He doesn't know that that's there.
Yeah, but...
Oh, he only one of them caught in that, even though it looked like he would get a lot more.
It's good to be good, isn't it? Because luck just kind of falls by your side.
Yeah.
It is Mass Oracle, by the way. So the Spirit of Haz, who we did have in ShoutCraft Kings once,
didn't go very well.
No, it did not.
I'd love to have more. It's just he's not around very much.
Yeah.
Double Hydra Den. What?
That's a bit of a mistake.
That's not usual. I mean, I've advocated for backup tech buildings before for Zerg. No one ever listens to me, but double Hydra Den at this stage is probably not deliberate.
No, that's like way too much of an insurance policy.
I'd say so, yeah.
You're like a 14-year-old guy, and you're like, you know what? Yes, I'd like to take a life insurance policy.
The most comprehensive one we can find, preferably.
Please. Yeah, I'm very worried. They're like, do you have health issues? Like, no, I'm fully healthy and everything. It's just, I need it. So it's going to be Mass Oracle.
Oh,
it's
God.
not, and by the way, this is coming out against a Zerg that opened up Speed Overlord. So this had to have been scouted. There's an Overlord.
No, it's definitely as now. There's an Overseer sitting right on top of it.
So interesting choice. It does put the Zerg in a weird spot, though, because they're like, well, I'm already making Hydras, so I can only make so many Hydras. But he's going to go Infestation Pit here.
Yep.
Which is interesting, because if you can get to, I don't know what.
So, you know, the lack of ground defense of anything is not helpful in this situation, because the Lynx just got in and shut down the only pylon that was powering all the stuff.
What do they call that?
An iNcontroL pylon, I believe.
No?
No,
they don't. It's an Artosis pylon, you silly goon.
It's an easy mistake to make. You look so alike.
Behind this, by the way, the Mass Oracles did cancel.
Oh God, here it comes.
And by cancel, I mean they actually killed it. They literally killed it. Yeah, just
straight up nuked it to death. Yeah, I think letting those Lings in was a little bit of a mistake, and now we're going to do it again, apparently. Basically, buy more than one Zealot if you're going Mass Oracle is the lesson learned here.
Which is kind of, it's like you said, it's a clean mistake, so whatever. He's getting the gold base behind this, though, and with that snipe, there's this weird situation. So there's a lot of Queens. We did catch that on the screen against all the Oracles. If he can Nidus over here, Hydra Queen and 5 Infestors can kill that army. But the window's going to come and go. We saw Charge finish. We see Zealots being warped in. So if you're relying on Queens and Hydras, and all of a sudden 20 Charge lots show up and all those vehicles, you actually just die.
That's kind of the thing, isn't it? Because you might think, oh, well, this is ridiculous from Deer. He's committing to an extremely expensive strategy. Yeah, but if he's got the stuff to just switch out to a big basic mineral-only unit that will beat the shit out of Queens, then that's actually not a big deal.
Yep. And he's going Lurkers here, so he's just kind of paralyzed back on 4 bases, which means the Protoss is going to be on equal economic footing. Always advantage Protoss. Zerg no longer go for, I think it's called pathogen glands, so their infestors don't come out with the ability to fungal. Is it pathogen glands? Did I say that correctly?
It was pathogen glands. I don't know if that's even still in the game.
Well, I believe it is.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, that's how out of the game it is, so they just never make it. So
yeah, could be that too.
I doubted myself when I said it, though, because I was like, that doesn't sound right, because they never get it. But a lot of link harass going on, so that's good. Scoring a huge amount of probe kills, by the way, over at this third.
Yeah, surprisingly so, considering the amount of defense there.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute. You tried to burrow? Well, it's going to cost you.
That ain't going to work. Storm on the way, that pylon. He definitely needs a couple of reinforcing pylons at this point, I think. That has almost crippled him twice now.
Yeah. Like you said, though, it's like it happened the first time. It's like, all right, that's a mistake. Now it's been 2, 3, 4 times. It's like, okay,
so
dude,
maybe defend it.
Something about it.
Yeah.
And he is. He's got some cannons coming in. Now, if Storm finishes, by the way, so just looking just raw, 8 Lurkers, by the way. Wow.
Yeah. Don't do much against Oracles, but hey.
If they land a Mega Fungal, that could just be game. Like, if all these Oracles die for free, that's game. But in a straight-up fight, I'm still favoring Protoss, because he's getting Observers out here as well. He's got Revelation.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Lurkers are never going to go unseen in a million years with that many Oracles on the field. The question is, how do you then kill the Lurkers? Like, you don't have Disruptors. Zealot's not really a great option. I mean, you have 19 Oracles, which may very well be the way to go. And we're about to fucking find out, because here we go. And the lasers, it is a disco party, and there are no Hydras anymore in the world. But that fungal was absolutely massive. Is it enough? It blew up a lot of them, but it's not enough. It's not enough. He breaks it. And they're not dead.
No, in TotalBiscuit, Rogue's dead, by the way.
Oh.
I'll eat my shoe. I'll eat my chair. He's super dead. There's no way. He's going to make Hydras and Zerkins behind this. We had some harass the gold base behind it. It's the Oracles still in the air, though. God. He doesn't have an answer.
No, he really doesn't. The Hydras just get ripped to shreds. Spore Crawlers aren't good enough. Queens aren't good enough. There's just too much firepower. Needs to back off before, losing to a bunch of other Queens. But it's, as you mentioned, now with the Lurkers gone and everything on the ground gone, you could just bring Zealots in to kill those Queens.
Hang on, he cleaned up the gold base. There's a Zergling counterattack behind that or something. I didn't catch it myself.
Yeah, he didn't warp in the Zealots quite quick enough. The thing is, there's a bunch of workers that are just kind of idle that he could put there. So I don't think that's actually that big a deal.
Okay. Well, I'm worried now because I'm starting to look at my shoe and my chair, and I'm like, well, I guess I could put some, like, barbecue sauce on it, or...
Yeah, I mean, this is Rogue, and you probably shouldn't have said that. It's
No,
Rogue.
I should not have said that.
Considering what we've seen up to this point, he brings in the additional workers, but bear in mind, behind all of that, the Zerg is comfortably mining on 73 drones. And it's like, okay, he took some damage, but the amount of pressure that Rogue is currently putting on the Protoss is killing workers left, right, and center. It's killing pylons. It's shutting down tech. It's forcing Deer to come back. I think the shoe might be on the menu.
Oh, I'm not eating my shoe or chair, guys. I'll take it back. You even misheard me. I actually said I'm going to eat delicious macaroni and maybe a steak.
That was it. Well, Deer's definitely not out yet. I mean, look at the army supply. It's insane.
He's not out. That's the thing. He's still behind. I feel confident in saying that, but I thought that Deer was going to march across the map and end the game. It was like 11 freaking Hydras coming out and 20 Lings. You know what did it? The Ling counterattacks. And Deer, we have like a weird problem, because look at top right. That's about to go down. There's Lings inside his natural. It's like, for God's sakes, man, make some cannons, wall it in, and call it a day. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's going for it right now. He's going to try and fight right now, which, to be fair, with that army is a good idea. But yeah, like you said, he's lost so much stuff for no damn reason. And that's the only reason Rogue's still even in the game at this point. And here we go. Oh, the fungal misses, the fungal misses. A storm comes down to back that up and blows up most of his own oracles. Double storm feedback, triple storm quad. It's all gone. iNcontroL, it's all gone.
All the Protoss
on both sides.
Yeah, but he's still got the queens. I mean, he's got like an individual 2 immortals below that mothership.
Jesus
The Archon's
God.
on its last legs. Did he just outlast him? He's actually only up in 15 supply. He went into it 50 supply ahead. Rogue has got 12 Hydras, 22 Lings coming out. He's ransacked the backfield of Deer, but Deer with this mothership, that might have been just the slight good call here. Invisible stuff, pretty good.
Yeah. And more Zealots are now coming to back this up. You know, you've got the stuff on the ground. It's not very well upgraded, but well upgraded enough. The time warp's coming down, limiting the ability of these things to move. Here come the reinforcements on the back line. Oh, God. Where's the AR? Oh, God, the Archons are going to murder that. They're going to murder it. It's a stack of drones.
Yeah, he had to pull something. It's all hands on deck, but that's got to be it. Rogue has finally been toppled. Deer.
Holy crap.
I thought Delta Deathblow earlier. We were mistaken.
Gee.
And there it is.
Gee.
Pete's sakes. Even
game.
in loss, I'm more impressed with Rogue than I am Deer, I feel like, in that game.
I mean, you've got to give Deer credit for some incredible innovations and just making that work. You know, you mentioned it's a Has-like strategy. Well, Has doesn't win a lot.
Yeah.
Deer just did, and Deer, of all people, topples Rogue after Rogue just tears through some of the best we've got.
Jeez Louise, man.
What a game.
You know what's funny, too, though? It's like and this is actually... I could talk about this all day, but it's the mistakes in StarCraft that, for me, make it such a beautiful game. When people play perfect, oftentimes that's them steamrolling their opponent, and it's like, okay, well, no one plays perfect, but near perfect, I guess. But in this game, Deer just could not wrap his head around stopping these Ling run-bys.
Yeah.
If he did, if he had a couple of cannons, if he resealed, made walls, that kind of thing, I think Rogue gets stomped by that composition. The Oracles just seemed to confound him. The Charge Out the Storm all came at the right time. That was really rough. But the run-bys made it seem that Rogue could do the impossible and come back from such a huge deficit. That was amazing.
Yeah, he really did work that hard, and as you said, Deer just didn't do anything about it. Even when it came to warping in Zealots, it was late. Cannons would have shut that down, there's no doubt. We knew that, but he's more interested in building more Oracles and Mothership and Storm, which I guess we should just bow to his knowledge on that because he was right, and he did win.
Whew.
That's
These are good games.
Yeah. Well... It keeps answering the question, why double the prize pool? Because this happens, apparently, if you double the prize pool. Madness. Okay. Yeah, it's not too bad. Rogue has nothing to be ashamed about. 2.5 grand.
No.
2.5, straight up from that. Can't really complain.
Hell of a show in front of 17,000 plus people. Actually, well over 17,000. So just, not bad.
Not bad at all, yeah. We're looking at probably the most successful Kings of all time right now, which is amazing, so thank you very much for that. While we wait for our next player, I'd like to... I promised you a bit of a teaser for what's coming up, something else that's being funded by Blizzard, something I've wanted to do for a while. I think it's fair to maybe show you, to actually show you some concept art for it, because that might explain it a little bit better. So I'm going to put it up on screen right now. I'm going to show you some of the concept art we've been making, because we've been building a really awesome set of art and animations for this event, because we're finally going to do the Masked Luchador Tournament. The ShoutCraft Masked Luchador Tournament. Here are some of the Luchador designs we have for it, Starcraft-themed Luchadors. And the whole point of this event is we're going to do, just like the old ShoutCraft Invitationals, 8 players, but all the players are a mystery. They are masked. Nobody knows who they are, including the players they're playing against. That you will only find out who they are when they lose. When they go out of the tournament and when their luchador mask is ripped off, which it will be on camera, ladies and gentlemen. You will find out who they are.
So fun. There's so many fun mind games of that, because a lot of the top pros, they all play, like, even the Koreans know the top foreigners. They're a little bit hazy, but like if you have Neeb against anyone, they're all like, oh, I know Neeb, I played against him a bunch, I know exactly how he plays. But in this kind of a tournament, that goes out the window. So you're not able to predict. It just adds this huge mind game element to it that I get really excited about. Because, like, again, if you're playing a guy that's a little bit more cheesy, like Haz is kind of a funny person. Like, if you play against Haz in a tournament, you know to scout for cannon rushes. You know to scout for Dark Templar. If Haz is wearing a Luchador mask, and that could be Haz or it could be stats, you're in for a world of pain, probably. It's just amazing. I think it's so fun.
I'd say so. I really would. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun for people to guess. It's going to be fun for viewers to guess who it is. Can you tell by playstyle? Can you figure it out?
Oh, you're going to... Please. I can't wait to read to the live report thread during that tournament.
It's going to be hilarious.
They're like, oh, that's so totally dark. I've seen his Ling movement before like that, and then when they're wrong, they just kind of don't post for a while. It'll be really funny. But my question to you, TotalBiscuit, how much war chest money would it take to get StarCraft 2 players to actually talk proper shit to each other? To actually talk...
I've tried, man. I've tried.
I was there. It was terrible.
Maybe I can get them to do it if they're masked, so nobody knows who they are. Maybe, just maybe. That would be interesting. Right, well, there you go. That's the first of several announcements coming for new ShoutCraft events, ladies and gents. The ShoutCraft Masked Luchador Tournament is finally happening after several years of claiming I would do it. It's going to happen. All right, well, Dia has an opponent, so we've got to get to it, don't we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, his next opponent, he just toppled Rogue. We just saw some insane PvZ, and you know what? I want to see a bit more of it. Jeff, I want to see a bit more. I want to see what he can do against someone a little bit less conventional. Someone who we haven't had in this tournament before. Currently in the team house in South Korea. I want to see him go up against NoRegret.
Okay. So TotalBiscuit on that street corner, waving $500 bills. Come on over here, kids. You can be a big star, big star. And who comes shambling over but a behemoth of a Zerg player who's been in Korea for a while now, training. And what has he learned in Korea? Well, Lings are still pretty good, and making lots of them and running around really fast can sometimes win you games and get you qualified for the GSL.
It can also do well against Deer, apparently, as we saw in the last map. If he's vulnerable to Ling run-bys, then oh god.
This is the, Ling run-by incarnate, man. This guy never stopped. He's been doing Ling run-bys for 3 or 4 years, and it's just what he does.
Pretty much. Well.
No regrets.
Let's find out. To the northwest position on Abyssal Reef in the red trunks, playing Zerg. The challenger. Foreign player currently living in the team house in South Korea with Neeb, Scarlet, and others. Playing Zerg, it's NoRegret. Versus his opponent to the southeast position in the blue trunks. The King Slayer himself is Dia.
And is Deer going to be that flash in the pan we see in Kings where we're like, wow, that was super amazing. You totally murder that amazing player and then just lose immediately? Or did TotalBiscuit give him a $500 donation in the shape form of a Canadian Zerg player and no regrets?
It is definitely possible. NoRegret is a bit of a wild card, I think, in this situation. He plays, of course, a lot in Korean ladder, but is he in a lot of these big tournaments that Deer is in? No, he's not. And we've seen time and again that completely catch people off. We've seen what Cyril was able to do today, so let's see if we see another foreign Zerg breakout success here. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's possible, and best of one does give the puncher's chance to a player like NoRegret. He doesn't have to... if he faces one of these guys in a best of 5, I give him a very little chance. And it's not... I'm not hating on him, it's just that these guys are world-class players, and... NoRegret has not shown to be that just yet.
Not yet.
But in a best of 1, who knows? He could string it together and come out with 3 or 4 wins, a giant wad of cash, and some pretty cool wins under his belt.
Pretty huge win for him, honestly. And bear in mind, you're in the same team house as Scarlet and Neeb. You're training with them constantly. You're training with their Chinese practice partners, the Korean practice partners. You're taking it seriously. You could become a big talent very quickly.
And he is trained. I mean, he did qualify for the GSL. That's a big deal.
Yep.
It's a hard thing to do.
Yep. Also recently known famously for apparently only having 1 camera hotkey. Which, by the way, is one more camera hotkey than I have.
Yeah, I know. Me too, actually. I came from Brood War where my mechanics were absolute crap, but unfortunately for 10 years I cemented those mechanics in, so I am what I am. But he is going to go with, by the way, a little bit of a mix-up here. 3 hatch before pool.
Yep.
Which is something that does happen, but it's just very greedy, so not very often. But against that 1 gate opening, it'll be interesting to see the timings of this, but at least on paper, if you know you're facing a 1 gate, you could be pretty okay off against that. You're going to get an adept or 2 to the face, but with some Zerglings and a couple of queens and some good, drone micro, you can even mitigate that too.
Yeah, I think you can. We'll see what he can do with it. And a greedy opening against a player that you know is maybe better than you, but is also playing safe because he's a bit scared.
Right.
Not wanting to drop to a player who's, considered lesser. That's a big psychological edge you could pull off there, and it looks like so far NoRegret has executed that to perfection. This Adept is being a little annoying, but it's not killing drones.
It's not killing drones against that greedy macro opening, like you pointed out, so that's okay. Still getting 4 Ling kills for itself, so if that continues, it's going to get to a place where it's a problem. But for right now, like you said, not killing drones. They're going to show up. They're heading towards the 3rd here. And, yeah, that's what I was talking about. He makes an evolution chamber, which is actually really cool. It blocks off.
And he tries the second one. It's not quite close enough. But, of course, it also, as you said, saves the drone from dying. Yeah. Queen's working on it. Needs to really get a second queen up in that mix, because they're... Oh, he actually cancels out of the ghost warping, and there we go. The Ling's finally kicking at full speed, and actually both of those are going to die now. Great surround.
Yep, well done by Mr. NoRegret.
Yep, double cancellation on those Eva chambers.
And on the flip side, if we check the view of NoRegret, he doesn't actually see this. It's one of those things that can absolutely be inferred, though, especially when the Oracle shows up and is getting kills.
Yep.
That's 5 kills, by the way, and there's no... Oh, so this is the kind of damage you don't see in PvZ very often.
No.
But a little bit of preoccupation with his attention from the Adepts. Oh, he does get the Oracle
down, which is nice. Now, five drone kills, that sucks. And actually, what's really interesting is you saw that 3 hatch opening, but we only have 22 drones for NoRegret. Like, he's actually producing... He produced a lot of Lings, went for the run-by, and didn't really get a lot done with it. And, I mean, I don't blame him for the run-by. It's, as you said, it's his signature, and it also works well against Deer, but not this time. There's a defensive Oracle in play.
Yeah, no, and that's why it's... I mean, look, you can just get kind of a drive-by view of his mineral lines and see exactly what you were just talking about, where it's like, this looks pathetic, it does not look good. The thing he's got going for him is that Deer hasn't taken his 3rd just yet, so it's 5+ minutes, he's about to. So it's a little bit on the later side for Deer. I think that's in part because he lost 1 Oracle, made another, and is now going for a 3rd Oracle.
Yeah.
He could end up doing mass Oracles, but that's not committed just yet. This is because he lost the other one. Protoss really like to have those 2 Oracles.
This 3rd's under threat. This is a nasty Adept run by, and there's not enough to defend against it. The drones may very well be damaged. There's no Zerglings that were used all on a run by, so there's literally no defense for this. He has to pull away right now.
Kind of a good pump fake with the drones, though. It's a terrible situation, don't get me wrong, but he brought them back, grabbed the attention of the Adepts, made them cancel their shade, and then they stayed at the 3rd, where they just get a queen kill for themselves, basically. Whereas had they shaded forward, they would have got a lot of drone kills as well. So
not quite enough Lings. There we go. That should do the job. Didn't want to undercommit because he will lose that fight. As you said, like, it hasn't really done a lot of damage yet, and more Lings are on top of them right now. So this has been handled fairly well, all things considered. It's just the drone count is so low to begin with.
Yeah, he's making 18, 20 more Zerglings. He's going to just all in from there. So it's
yeah,
like...
I think so.
I actually end up feeling a little bit bad sometimes when I commentate these games where I'm like, he just makes Lings, and then they actually just make Lings, and I'm like,
You weren't kidding.
It's okay for me to be the jackass, but when, when it's just reality, it's a little bit too real.
There's a slight problem in that Deer was gone all sentries. There are 3 more Overlords being added in. I was like, hey, well, if you had speed and drop, this might work, but you don't. So it probably isn't going to.
No, and he walls that in. I mean, the Banelings are going to show up, they're going to pop the pylon, that's pretty cool. He might even lose this base, but it's just so much. And there's sentries coming over here to clean up afterwards, too. I don't even think he loses that, unless he loses.
The Banelings don't connect. So the probe line does get ravaged, because there is a lot of Lings, but that is also a fairly large Ling commitment. Can he get in on the sentries? Because that would be a big deal. He actually does to some extent, but the force fields are ridiculous, and he's not able to kill that many.
And he target practice the 1 Baneling that makes it through, by the way. It was just well done.
Well, how much was invested in that attack for NoRegret? He was droning behind it, but he's still economically behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at this TotalBiscuit. He's on 3 bases. He's just now morphing his lair. He doesn't have an evolution chamber upgrade past +1 melee. There are currently, and this is my favorite stat so far, 0 active creep tumors.
Oh. Yeah, there's actually no creep spread of any sort.
No, because creep spread's not Ling, so
True.
And now there's actually a sentry. This is like the Matrix. There's a sentry for every ling.
Oh,
you know how they
God,
sent
yeah.
that into what was it called? The final place of humanity.
Yeah, Zion
It's
is...
harsh. Zion, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly
Every
right.
man, woman, and child in NoRegret's kingdom is about to get obliterated by the looks of it.
And he just has lings. That's all he can make. So
Yeah, Lings and Banes. He's getting the lair. I don't think that's going to help. Dia's warped in, and Ling Run buys is a good idea against Dia, considering how much damage he took last game, but he's not going to do the same mistake twice, and this, I think, is going to be a swift end for NoRegret, and a swift $500. Oh dear, that's just kind of sad.
it feels kind of like he played like a used map settings.
Yeah.
For $500. Like he's like, this one is it's called like Ling Base Assault or something like that.
Sure,
And
yeah.
as long as you can get through this pretty okay, we're just gonna give you $500. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do that.
There you go. That's $500 for you. Hopefully you enjoy that. Well, there are definitely some regrets.
Oh!
You knew it had to come. It's too easy! Too easy. So says Dia. 2 wins on the board, $1,000. Okay. We'll break out somebody a little tougher, perhaps, for our King Dia, who has proven that he is not to be underestimated. We will come back after the break with our next opponent. We still have 2 more groups of this, if you can believe it. All I'll say is I hope the Koreans have got coffee. This is going on for a while. You're watching ShoutCraft Kings, the August edition for $10,000. We'll be right back after the break with yet more action. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ShoutCraft Kings August. Hopefully you enjoyed the wonderful break music there from OC Remix. Some of the classics. I do love my Sonic remixes. There's a new Sonic game coming out quite soon, as it turns out, which hopefully will not suck.
Well, that would be against tradition, John. So
It would. That is true. But you never know. You just never know. For instance, we didn't know that Dia would be $1,000 richer today, but so he is, and will continue to fight against whatever opponents are left, of which there are quite a few. So we ain't messing around. Let's jump right in. We have a lot still to cover here in this tournament. Dia has defeated NoRegret, and Dia has destroyed Rogue. So evidently Zerg, not a problem for Dia right now. Just a little bit of a appetizer. Let's see if perhaps maybe Terran is the cure.
oh my god. It's multi-layered.
It never ends!
Uh,
Oh dear.
I have not seen much from Cure, actually. This is really
No.
nice. This is one of the also hipster hardcore StarCraft fans would be like, Cure, of course I think Cure's been all... Like, no. Cure's not one of the big household names, but a very, very top-tier player.
Yep.
And I'm excited. But to be honest, you were already kind of going through the recent results of Deer's hit list of Terran players he's beaten, and that might as well be the top 5 Terran player list as well. So,
Yes.
But it's ShoutCraft Kings. I can't wait to see how Kier pulls this big win off in 45 minutes.
It can be done, and particularly the Holy Moly July finals are what I'm pointing to as a very big indication that Cure ain't messing around. So he 2-0s Leonok, he 3-0s Mionsic, and he goes a 3-4 with Rogue. 3-4 in the finals. That's pretty big deal. He, as he said, has dispatched quite a few Terran players. He did lose recently in the Ballistics Brawl to Hero. So he's a bit of an unknown factor, but he's more than capable.
We'll see.
We will. Because he's up against this guy, the reigning king of the hill, as it stands in the red trunks, emblazoned upon his shield, as it was the... Is it House Baratheon with the deer? I'm not sure. Which is it? Which is the stag, or is that someone else? I can't remember.
Baratheon was... is it the stag?
I think it might be the stag, you know? I think I might have got that right.
Ormont's the bears. Lannister's the lions. Yeah, I think
It's
you're right.
Baratheon. Nailed it first time. Don't even care that much about Game of Thrones. There you go. To the northwest position in the blue trunks, playing Terran from Jin Air. It is Cure.
No, but you like a Song of Fire and Ice. Or Ice and Fire, rather.
Ice and Fire, yeah. The first one, I don't know. I read the first one. Bit wordy. I like the rest inaudible. I did like those.
My god.
It was good stuff.
A bit wordy.
Yes!
Ugh.
The first book of Song of Ice and Fire is a bit wordy. Come on. It's a thick
Yeah.
book. There's a lot of words. And the pacing is a little slow. That's fair, right? That's fair criticism.
I guess.
He's not
They're really
not a
good.
fan, apparently. Not a fan of that criticism.
I like the dialogue. I like the character building. The first, let's put it this way. If you think they're slow, then just read the first 3 books or do the audio or whatever. But everything after that, pass. If you think the first 3 are slow, wait till you get to A Feast for Crows. And,
Oh my god.
oh my god.
I'm just trying to work out whether or not you're just the sort of person that eats Dostoevsky for breakfast, or whether or not it just is generally not as wordy as I think it is. It's hard to say.
No, I think it's definitely... You're not wrong, and I think it straddles this fun line where it's not classic literature. It's not the most ridiculous, like, and then the mother placed the wooden spoon in betwixt her teeth, and it gets really bad that way. But it definitely has... Here's 40 pages of this character dealing with politics and a relationship thing that aren't really super interesting, and you're like, okay, well, this is going to be a dredge.
Yeah, a little bit.
And there's so many characters that there's a lot of that's going on.
Yes.
So that's where it's tough.
Indeed. This is just when we find out iNcontroL just benches War and Peace in the morning. Several copies of it.
No. No, but I am my degree was in English, so I've read my fair share of like, wow, this is a stream of conscious for 600 pages, and that's classic, I guess.
Well, my degree's in law, so I've read my fair share of boring shit over the years.
There you go.
All right. Skintastic here for Cure. Seems like he's really been working on his war chest. Apparently that has been his priority rather than winning tournaments, I guess. But hey, we all have our goals. Nothing wrong with that. Seeing some nice little additions.
It just looks different. It's just so cool. Diversifies the game. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think so. It's good to see. And hey, he's funding his possible tournament win right here, just in a very, very tiny, small way. Like, not
Feels
really,
like a
but...
small call out, by the way, because I haven't done any of the war chest stuff. So when I play, you're gonna see like just totally generic pleb skins, and it's like, I'm sorry, guys. I like them.
There's only one skin that matters, man, and that's that tricycle Hellion thing. The one, the Mad Max one. That's the best skin they've ever made. They'll never top that.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
I love the Protoss stuff. The carrier one, it looks so much better. The Immortal skin.
I like the Archon. One of the Immortals looks a little silly. There's like, suddenly the weapons are inflatable now. Like, it almost went cardboard there for a second.
You know what? And I 100% recognize that you're not wrong, and I agree with you on that. I just kind of like it because it's like, the aesthetic of it is like clean, purifier. It's a little different.
Well, we're gonna get some interest. Oh, we're gonna have some ships passing the night. No, we're not. Absolutely not. And that shield ain't done yet either. So this is a very interesting fight. Quick evacuation. Oh, and the micro coming out of Dia right here is not quite enough, but it certainly helped an awful lot. That would have been one completely dead Protoss army without that.
Still pretty cool. Bunker goes down the background. Stim nowhere near to finish, and that Warp Prism is a huge issue.
Oh, trying to focus it down. I don't think he has it. Does he have enough Marines? Apparently, he may very well. These are now combat shielded Marines, but again, that Warp Prism micro is just infuriating. Scans the Observer out. Bunker is done.
Who cares, right? He's just gonna lift up and go to the main, and that's exactly what Kira's predicting. He's gonna show up over
he's
here.
Totally right. Yeah, and he gets right on top of it. Does he have enough Marines to shut that down? He's being out-microed in every possible way here, because, I mean, what micro can you do without Stim? Apparently none whatsoever. Dia, what the hell are you? Are crazy.
And this is a free win, is what it comes down to. Like, it was CC first.
Well, until he ran right into the SCBs and got completely surrounded.
Just pick him up.
Yeah, maybe. Warp Prism's still alive.
As long as he kills the Marines, the Warp Prism harass continues.
Yep.
So maybe the game doesn't flat out end right here, but if Deer doesn't carve more... Oh, if he just goes back, I'd be so disappointed. Okay, good. He's going to swing around here. So I guess he was end right there.
Yeah. He's got a DT... He's got Dark Shrine on the way as well. Like, that... I mean, there are a lot of missile turrets, but outside of the range of those, that could be very dangerous.
Yeah. Well, it stops him from... Like, the third's going to be free, and there's no third command center at all yet from our Terran player, which... It can be a little bit behind, but the clock has just been started, so the longer this goes, where it is a little bit behind, then it becomes a lot bit behind, that becomes a bigger issue.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think about the Marauder skin, by the way? Do you like that?
It's okay. I'm not, like, fussed about it or not, really. It looks pretty...
It looked like grounded Vikings to me a little bit. So
A little bit.
let's start a huge discussion about how, if I can't tell the difference between if the Terran player is making grounded Vikings in this TVP or Marauders, then I can't win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why all skins should be disabled forever.
Why? What if he's making mass grounded Vikings, man? I need to know.
You just don't know. Yeah, you just don't know that.
I need the proper counter.
Well, that accomplished nothing. I would like him just to see him maybe kill the tech lab with that or something. He's not getting a lot done at the moment. Drops on the way here for Cure, looking to maybe hit that third base. Dia's already seen it coming.
Nice job by Cure to have the defense for the Star Shrine, by the way. And he's going to move out with a double drop. There's enough Photon Overcharge that or he could just kill the Medivacs. He's going to get both, I think.
Oh, God. That's devastating.
Wow. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And
he did it without... He didn't even have Blink Stalker. Didn't need it.
You know what, though? The stim is a dead giveaway that those are not landed Vikings. I can totally tell when they do that.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's important. Command center coming down here. Cure just lost a lot for nothing, essentially, at this point. He's been out-microed, outplayed, outfoxed up to this point, but he's not out of it yet.
No, he's going for the 8-minute Widowmine drop, which actually could work, because there's not a lot of observers out here. Let me see. Just 2 on the map. Actually, in one... Nope, that's a Warp Prism. So, not bad. Like I said, the big concern is because of these losses, this third orbital is just now coming in.
Yep.
Protoss is a fully saturated third, taking a fourth.
Yeah, that's greedy, but why not? Why not take it?
Like comeback. You need something crazy.
Yeah, you know. And honestly, there's nothing that Dia isn't going to see coming a mile away, right? Unless Dia just gets super greedy and slacks on his unit production, there's no reason whatsoever to believe that he's going to take real damage. The Widowmine drop didn't do much.
No, and this on the way. It has 1 medevac TotalBiscuit, so it's like maybe you stim and snipe the Nexus, but you're at risk of losing your entire army to do that, and then the game.
Pretty much. So it's not going to work out too well. Brings in the additional medevac here. Does have a decent Marauder count, which is helpful.
He's just got to run, and it's like, what did you accomplish?
Nothing. Nothing right now. You know, you'd have to bait him into a crazy Widowmine trap, which isn't even going to happen because Dia's just focusing fire on them. The Marauders are definitely hurting, no doubt. Took a few of the Stalkers out, but he's still on 2 bases, ultimately. And he hasn't touched that third, and that fourth is about to be done. This is difficult.
I mean, I get it. He's got to try something, right? If he just sits back, he just dies. So I understand. It's just he's been put in such a tough spot that sometimes it gets hard to see where this goes from there. If he had like double engineering bay, he's got the 1. Yeah, he's just down to 1 engineering bay as well. So like the issues start compiling. He's falling behind in upgrades. He's just now taking his 3rd versus the fully 4th saturated base of Deer. Like it's really good for Protoss to have a Nexus halfway done when the Terrans landing their 3rd.
Yeah,
but he's got it.
Yeah,
it's already done.
already absolutely done. In comes Dier and reinforcements. Backed up by Immortals, backed up by Guardian Shield. Upgrades are equal and about to be less so. Fusion Core being added in, presumably for that Liberator range upgrade, but, I mean, you know, you got 4 medevacs and half of them have got holes in them. Right now, we're going to say it's going to just have to be a really solid defensive play from Cure, which, with what he's got, he can do. But he's got to get that deployed now. Not now. That's too late. That is way, way too late. He's got to focus those Liberators down. Can he kill them quick enough, though? He lost all of the Stalkers. He didn't have enough Stalkers. The ground army dies.
He doesn't have an answer for the Liberators right now.
No, other than walking away from them, which he is trying to do at the moment. Now the Stalkers are up, and that's it.
Yeah. GG should be falling here pretty soon. Cure, I thought, died earlier. Was able to hang on a little bit, but I think just how far back he fell behind was...
Yeah, none of his harass worked, ultimately. It was all shut down. Like, I think once he lost those 2 full medevacs, that was kind of doom. The doom bell was tolling. It would have been very hard to come back from that, and he wasn't able to either. You know, the Liberators was a nice touch, but ultimately, you know, a quick warp in of additional Blink Stalkers, and that's pretty much it. And Dia continues just to hammer home. The defense will hold for a little bit. It will probably be eventually overwhelmed, and even if it's not, the 3rd is going to go down. There's now 5 Protoss bases.
Yeah. And he found the 3rd. He can actually just pick it off. The SCVs can't repair it. GG. Cure taps out, and another dominant game here from Deer.
Looking very good for Deer. Very, very good indeed. And it's good to see him finally really flexing those muscles. We know he's capable of it.
Yeah.
Now, this is a guy who's a multiple champion, but we've said it time and time again. Big champions, especially after a couple of wins, often go into a slump.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it. Just that to remain consistent in StarCraft is really, really difficult. So, Deer, who's been around since, I want to say Heart of Swarm. I don't think Wings of Liberty, but he's been a top competitor since then, showing up at BlizzCon and whatnot. So, cool. I hope we see more of him. Like you said, if he's beaten Beyond and Innovation and stuff like that, then he's got what it takes. Maru, that's amazing.
Yep, he definitely does. And putting yourself in the position where you are able to do that on a regular is tricky. It'd be great to see Dia come back and win another tournament. That would be great. He put on some really exciting play. That in particular, we just saw a micro showcase, the likes of which we don't see very often. You know, that was a Liquid hero at his prime kind of level of Warp Prism micro. Close range Warp Prism micro as well.
Yeah, it was good. It was a strat that was really impressive for me. It was like it was kind of like the Nidus Worm we saw earlier, where it's like, well, this is just a bad draw for Kira, unfortunately. That build is a hard counter. And the Mortal Wound was dealt. Like you talked about the double Medevacs losing later, that didn't help very much, obviously. But I felt like it was that Warp Prism harass and the opening that really kind of put him in a place where it's like, what do you got? Because you got to do something pretty incredible to come back from this.
Yeah, I would say so. And obviously Kira is not quite capable of that in this situation against a caliber player like Deer, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Was a bit of a slaughter, but hey, Deer earns his money. Doesn't care how he gets it. Can hardly blame the fella, can he?
No. I wonder why TotalBiscuit's such a big fan of Deer, because you gave him NoRegret, then you gave him some schmuck like here. I mean, come on.
This is after I gave him Rogue, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not being kind to him.
Ago, it's like that was forever ago.
Yeah, well, and we'll see. We'll see how much you think I like him after this. Switching server at the moment for our next opponent. Spice things up just a little bit. We've been on the career server long enough. Need to get a little bit of NA air, I think.
Look at that professional broadcasting talent, because he just subtly told me what server we're on. I thought I was looking at everyone over here. Oh, you're telling. Okay. You were telling your moderator too what server we're on.
Just.
I'm on to your tricks. While you guys, by the way, we had some nice people on Twitter saying some cool stuff, so I'm sure that's been showing up on the stream. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Use the hashtag ShoutCraft if you want to be involved in that.
Great to have you all here. We're happy to be doing this. A lot of hype around it. People have been asking me about this day for a few weeks now. Just a good day of StarCraft. A lot of great matches.
Yeah, it really has. Like, there's been very few letdowns, I think. You know, we've had a couple of quick slaughters, but not many. Not many. Yeah. Most of them have just been top-notch games. Incredible ZVZ. Some crazy stuff. You know, I wouldn't call Dia versus Rogue the highest skill game of all time, but it was a gloriously messy affair.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say.
Sometimes that's what you want out of a StarCraft game, right? Just blood. Lots of blood.
And not every game can be great, though. These guys are moving at high speeds, playing a very complex game, and sometimes it just doesn't match up. And, you know, we make our jokes about Kira and NoRegret, but they both are people that tried their best to win. They tried a strategy, it didn't work. And StarCraft, part of the reason why it's such an intimidating game for a lot of people is that can happen, and then you just look silly. And that's not really your fault or something like that. It's just kind of the way the game goes. Like Kira was fighting against a 50 supply deficit for the last 5 minutes of that game. And every attack he tried was getting bounced easily. Every decision he made looked like it was a bad one. It's because he was so far behind. Like, this game is kind of deceiving that way.
Yeah. I mean, losing those 2 full medevacs was just a disaster area. I don't think anyone really comes back from that. You'd have to be incredible. Just beyond ridiculous to be able to pull that off. Didn't happen, but hey.
Which Rogue almost did, by the way.
He did, yeah, which was terrifying.
I meant to be silly. I was like, I'll eat my chair, I'll eat my shoe, and then he frickin' almost did it, man.
In the meantime, of course, big thanks once again to Blizzard for sponsoring this event and upping the prize pool, and that is thanks to the War Chest, which has been funding that. As much as I personally don't like the war chest, as I mentioned before, can't argue with the facts, and when it comes to giving money to the players, which, trust me, are the only people getting extra money from this. I don't even take salary from this event, and iNcontroL hasn't had a pay rise either. I'll tell you that for a fact.
And that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Indeed. Interesting stat for you, by the way, regarding Deer in this tournament. According to Maxi, who runs the unofficial fan stats page for ShoutCraft Kings, Deer currently has the best win ratio in ShoutCraft Kings with 6 wins and 1 defeat. Only 1. I actually had no idea he'd only been in and lost once.
Interesting.
Yep. It's apparently the reality of it.
And he beat Rogue, by the way, which is the biggest win we've had yet. And he did it the most difficult way possible by letting Lings run in for the entire game and still won. So
yeah, pretty much. Pretty
good.
All right. The next opponent. Let's get it on the board. The lobby is now set up. We want to know who can beat Dia. You wanted somebody good enough to do it. Maybe not necessarily somebody Korean to do it. Don't think we necessarily need that. What about just one of the best Zerg in the world in general? One of the most consistent. What about Nerchio?
Nerchio, you know, we've been giving credit to some of these guys that have been, well, Deer, even this matchup itself has been very good for a long time. Nerchio is good in Wings of Liberty, man. He's been around for a long time, getting himself a college degree all the while as well, and still doing it. And now, and I make jokes, but I got to give credit where credit's due. I'm not even being facetious. Nerchio is one of the best to be interviewed and most charismatic StarCraft 2 players at WCS events these days. Which, granted, is not saying much. That's like saying you're the strongest guy in a chess club or something like that. But it's still it's fun. It's fun seeing the evolution of these guys. Nerchio was known for his BM and kind of kept to himself, kind of quiet, a little bit more reserved. And lately he's had more personality, still getting the results. Still BM, but just a more fun member of the community, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so. We're ready to rock and roll. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Deer is ready, Nerchio is ready, and Mech Depot will be the venue for this encounter.
Okay. Mech Depot. I actually think back to, again, GSO versus the World, where Nerchio did compete, and he had a good ZVP series, but he got a little bit tunnel vision, if I'm remembering this correctly, and it was on this map. Was it against Stats? I can't remember. He got to the mid game, but he just kept trying to fight, and there's just a lot of narrowed space. There's a lot of chokes. There's some open space too, but it's a very cluttered map, so you can have a lot of kind of pretty bad fights, and he just took too many of those. Wasn't able to get it done.
Let's see how it turns out. Here we go. The current reigning king of the hill, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the southwest of Mech Depot. It is Dia. Versus his opponent to the northeast position. One of the most consistent players of all time. Both in foreign tournaments and, of course, in ShoutCraft Kings. Currently tied for the most wins with Innovation and looking to take that position back again today. It's Nerchio.
And $500 too. Like, we have the number of wins is impressive, but like you were saying earlier, Rogue's already in that kind of deep into the top 10 category, just off of almost
top
half
5 just off of those wins.
Oh, there you go. So Nerchio, one of the big workers of the StarCraft 2 scene. You see him, like you said, in all kinds of tournaments. He'll go to a Home Story Cup. He'll be at all the IEMs, all the GSLs, or not GSLs, excuse me, but DreamHacks, that kind of stuff. So he's just everywhere. And now he's also he's absolutely one of the household names in ShoutCraft, as you said, tied with Innovation for 17 wins, isn't it? Or 8?
Yes, 17, I believe, yeah.
17 or 18, but that's incredible. This is not against a bunch of slouches. This is against some of the best. And he had one of the bigger streaks, too, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he did. About 7 or 8. And it was against top Koreans as well. Like, arguably a smaller streak than Innovation, but arguably a more impressive one, because the quality of players he had to go through was actually ridiculous.
Yeah. Very impressive.
By the way, Nerchio always complains when I give him Protoss, by the way. And it's not his worst matchup, statistically, of all time or his current form, at all. But he complains about it anyway.
Nerchio always complains, and then I just anything you said after that, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds
Pretty
about
much.
right.
I think the only thing he wants is Terran. If I give him Zerg, he'll complain. If I give him Protoss, he'll complain. So, you know what's going to happen? If he actually succeeds, I'm just going to give him more and more and more Protoss. That's his fault, and he can be blamed for that.
It's the ShoutCraft Developmental Institute. You know, you come into this and you face your fears, and sometimes you get paid for it.
Yep. Nerchio currently sitting on 17 wins and 8 defeats with a 68% win ratio.
Not bad.
Yeah. He's been in almost every ShoutCraft event bar 1 or 2, I think. He was in, of course, the BlizzCon one-off live special. I believe he wasn't in one tournament. We always bring him back because he always does well. He's impressive. He's one of the more consistent. You know, he streaked multiple times in this tournament, which most players don't do.
And he shows up and plays, right? Like, I've never heard complaints. Nerchio's not one of those guys that'll flake out and then you're in a kind of a grind. He'll always be there. He's a pro. Which is funny because, you know, say what you want about him, but he shows up, he gives it his best, and he plays. He might say some weird stuff around the beginning and end of it, but it's okay.
I would say so. Now Nerchio's on to spread that creep. We got the third base on the way. Twilight Council pretty early here for Dia. They've got the Oracle coming out. We've seen Dia obviously use that before, but the Twilight is an interesting decision.
Yeah, a lot of times that can be what we've seen here, which is like an Oracle or 2 and 6 or 7 Adepts showing up at the natural or third and trying to get some damage done. We've seen games even end that way. A little bit less so, because as time goes on, it becomes a little bit more prevalent in the meta. But Nerchio, one of the players, you know, we're giving Cyril credit for being so active with the Zerglings. Nerchio's like the godfather of active Zerglings, and I think that's a huge part of his success throughout the years. He just knows what you're doing, and here it's not going to be Zerglings early on. It's going to be Speed Overlords, which get a full scout of everything. So Nerchio is going to be able to respond to this.
Early Resonating Glaive. Big adept pressure coming in here from Dia. Could be a bit tricky to deal with, certainly. But as he said, Nerchio should know about it.
Yeah.
Just as we spot the Twilight. Yeah, he knows it, isn't he? He knows about it. That is quite the use of Oracle's energy right there. I don't think that... I think that eventually kills a Spore, but I think you drain half the battery to do it.
So, yeah, we look at this and we say, is this a mistake? It loses a lot of energy.
Yes.
Harass. What's the follow-up? So it kills a Spore Crawler, but if you're not following that up with anything, who really cares? And there's not much of a follow-up. So I do think that was a small mistake here.
Yeah, I think so. I think there wasn't really a lot of point in that. Obviously, just miscollect, which can totally happen. Nerchio pulling back, realizing, no, that's not a fight I want to take, and that was before Resonating Glaive. He definitely don't want to take it afterwards. So he's going to have to work on something there. Looks like he's continuing to commit to Ling and Bane for the time being.
Yep.
Not the worst idea.
At all. No Roach War, no Lair.
Yep.
+1 melee. So you can do a lot of things with that. You can just keep trying to deny the third. You can go full all-in with that with some drop stuff. He's making a lot of Lings coming out here, but there's some Adepts showing up here.
Yeah.
With all these Lings and the Queens. He's going to need some more.
Yeah. A couple of Banes would be good. He does have 5 Queens, but only 3 of them on the front line right now.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, went right past that. That was a bit of a mistake there by Nerchio. He could have killed all 3. As it stands, he's not going to get all 3. He might get 1 or 2. He actually didn't get any of them. There's the warp. That's a bit of a pain. The Queen will be able to take them out, but still, uncharacteristic mistake there. In come the Adepts into the line of the third base. The Lings are sort of stuck behind the Queens right now. Not a helpful position to be in. They can't get a full surround on these Adepts, and these Adepts are doing way more damage than you would expect as a result.
Yeah, 5 drones go down, a Queen, some Lings. Ends up being a bit more of a trade to your point, whereas it could have just been Lings catching and slaughtering a cadre of the Adepts.
Yeah, totally could have been, yeah.
You know, what happened at the third is just not nearly as big of a deal. Where do we go from here, Nerchio? Is adding quite a few more Zerglings. 2 hatcheries go down. He double expands, and that's not something you see very often in StarCraft 2. It's, you know, potentially to fully saturate both those bases, that's 44 drones.
It's a lot of work.
They do, of course, double as production building points for a Zerg player, but the further away they are from Queens, that too is more difficult. So that's all the argument against it. He is going to go Hydra as well. So just the regular composition. But this is a form of pressure. He says, okay, my 4th was a little bit more delayed. You killed some drones. So my response is going to be this many hatcheries at expansions.
Looks like we saw a... Oh, nicely done. Bit of Dia's harass here. Saw the same kind of thing coming out of stats. That's half the mineral line locked down for a little bit. Interesting choice here with what do you reckon about this? There's a second Robo going down. He's already building Immortals and he's got Storm on the way.
Yeah, that's just that is that amazing meat and potatoes composition that Protoss players are opting for. It's almost like I'll just full on say it's a bit of a complaint about the matchup. Is it's kind of fallen into a real back and forth. That's what was pretty refreshing about seeing the Mass Oracle. That's still fairly common. Oh wow, that stasis word caught a lot.
That was a major one. Wow. To be fair, like locking the Lings down when there's nothing really to follow that up with isn't too bad, but you got a good amount of drones in the Queen too.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That you're exactly right. Though the Ling's not a big deal there, but the matchup's just fairly very relaxed in that it's going to most likely 8 or 9 times out of 10 be Hydra Ling, Baneling. The only differences being things like maybe they go for Infestors or Lurkers, and sometimes there's a semi-fast Hive, but for the most part, that's all it is. And then from Protoss, because of that, because the Zerg kind of dictates that that tech, they go Robo or double Robo, Immortal, Archon, Charge Lot, Storm, and sometimes not Storm, but that's about it. That's about all the variety there. A lot of the games end up going that way, so that's kind of my complaint, and it's nice to see some things change, but in this game, we're going to see a little bit more of the same.
A lot of Immortals on the way up, Storm backing it up, the big high-tech composition that can either destroy an enemy or fail gloriously, I feel. Oh god, Banelings, lots and lots of them, and sentry count not too high. The Storms will definitely help.
It defends well, though, TotalBiscuit is the thing. It doesn't like kill the Zerg, but it can defend pretty well. Now, the angle Nerchio's taking here is fairly wide open, so this is the most dangerous point in time for Deer, in my opinion.
Oh, here we go. Storms go down. They're accurate. They're very accurate, in fact, and what was used there was good. Oh, Clutch Morph. Clutch Morph allows those Templar to survive, turn into Archons, and smash the incoming Banelings, but there's still more Zerg on the way. Is there enough Protoss to hold this off? The Protoss forces rapidly falling down. The mineral line wiped out, and more firepower coming in, but we do have Zealots moving in, and the use of the Time Warp allowing the Protoss to hold.
He holds. Just silently in the backfield, Banelings made the long journey wraparound and detonated in the mineral line of the third. I think if he doesn't lose 24 probes here,
then he's in a good spot.
The army, he's way ahead, and I feel really good about his position. But now, with that economic loss and the flood of Zerg coming in, I don't know if he can keep up.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. Oh, dear, that is not where you want to be. And there's the quick morph to try and defend against that, but I don't think there is enough Protoss this time. That isn't going to happen. The Hydra focus is going down to make sure those Archons do not contribute. Quick pull out, realizing yet more Mortals in play, but that is expensive stuff going down. And Nerchio, of course, remains unharassed as a result of this, and is mining strongly off 5 bases, bringing more reinforcements in. There is not enough toss here.
81 drones. A lot of times if you see this kind of aggression, the Zergs cut something or another, but Nerchio, great job churning up the economy. GG from Deer, and Nerchio steamrolls him, by the way.
Yeah.
You were right about the clutch Archons. That was like cool to make it competitive. Had he not done that, he would have died 5 minutes ago or whatever, but well done by Nerchio. Just runs over Deer.
Yep, I would say so. That was a hell of a decapitation against our reigning King Deer. Walks away with 1.5 grand. He can't be unhappy about that. That's some good wins, but Nerchio mauls him for all intents and purposes. That wasn't really close. The initial attempt to go in with the resonating glaives didn't really yield dividends.
Yeah, it's interesting because it got some results, but the kind of almost intangible resource that we're losing out on seeing there is he's also losing his adepts, which he only had a few gateways at that stage of the game, so every round of adepts that you're losing and trading out for not stellar results is actually also hurting you, even though it's happening on the other side of the map. If he had been able to get his third up cleanly and not have it delayed by a couple of Ling run bys and stuff like that, and it was late anyways because of his fear of Ling run bys, then that would be something to mitigate that effect as well. But all those things kind of combined in a slightly stagnated Deer facing a war effort of Nerchio, just churning forward with so many units off of 81 drones and 5 bases, he was able to make Deer look a little bit silly.
Yeah. Sort of just mauled him. Probably the best way to describe it. Shook him about, threw him away. not much to say about that. I'm now arguing with Nerchio's like, I love ZVP, it's the best matchup. Stop complaining! Look at how good you are in it. Why are you complaining?
Oh, I know.
That's a pro gamer in a nutshell. It's like, oh yeah, I just completely destroyed one of the best Protoss in the world, and I hate ZVP, what a terrible matchup. Well, you shouldn't have said that, because I'm going to give you another damn Protoss now, you bastard. And not an easy one either.
No, of course, never easy.
Nah, of course we wouldn't do that. Nerchio has to beat the very best, like no one ever was. He's the proving ground, he's the yardstick. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a taste of hero.
It's a heck of a yardstick.
I'd say so. He's got a big one. Waves it around quite a lot. Don't know if you noticed that. You've been to a lot of tournaments with him, you should understand his habits.
I think Hero is one of the best micro players in all of StarCraft 2. I mean, that's not the incredible statement. I say that because I'm relaxing, easing my mind into the concept that I think he is the best micro in StarCraft 2.
He might be.
It's really fun, really flashy. He's also a super fun player just in terms of demeanor, and he is the guy that will do meta stuff, but he'll also break off that mold. Now, I say that, but it's ShoutCraft Kings, so we're just going to see completely the safe opening from Hero because these guys want that $500 cash.
Why wouldn't they? These guys are going to murder each other. And Hero and Nerchio have clashed a lot. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they were actually up on a rivalry list somewhere. He's played an awful lot of matchups against him. I'm trying to specifically find out which. I'll see if I can pull up the match history on Aligalac. It's ready for Hero to confirm that he's ready.
Well, when you're two of the best in the game, you're going to hit each other quite often, as it would turn out.
Pretty much, yeah. Run the filter right there. God, Nerchio has 6,000 competitive games registered. What the hell? That's insane.
That's all it does, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nerchio's an online grinder, too, though. He plays in the online cups quite a bit, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool he does that.
Competitively, he actually hasn't run into Hero for ages. He ran into Hero at the start of the year. IM World Championship and got 3-0 by him. So, we'll see. This is a good opportunity for vengeance, I think, here on Acolyte.
Yeah, Acolyte is the Protoss map right now. You give a Protoss three safe bases, and they're going to be very happy. So we'll have to see what Nerchio opts to do to try and crack that. Maybe a proxy spire, a pseudo hidden spire. That'd be kind of cool. But a lot of Zerg are reluctant to break from the mold. You can still attack the fourth base on this map. It's just the first three are pretty hard to get into.
I would say so. Not easy whatsoever. Let's see if it can be done. To the northeast position, right here, in the blue trunks, our current reigning king of the hill, who's been snacking on some venison as of late. It's Nerchio.
Oh, God.
You got it, didn't you? Took
I
a while,
did.
but you got it. To the
stings.
southwest position.
Stings.
It does, but it's tasty. Kind of gamey. Playing Protoss in the red trunks, ladies and gentlemen, it's Hero.
With that win, by the way, Nerchio the #1 winner again of ShoutCraft Kings, right?
Yeah, right up there again.
Pretty cool. But non-Korean. That's not what I would have expected.
No, I wouldn't have either, frankly. But he's that good. And as you said, he's an online grinder. You know, you got 7,000 competitive games under your name. Yeah. You're pretty good at that. And that's probably the skill set you need. Rather than preparing for organized tournaments, you just need to play a lot. Ladder to hell and back. Face every player. Because really, you think, oh, best of one format's really weird. Really, is it? You know what I mean? Because the ladder is a best of one format.
Yeah. I know. I was laughing because, again, I saw the comments in the live report thread when you announced the Luchador tournament concept that's kind of going to come out eventually here. I saw the comments where a few people were like, oh, that's just going to be cheese forever. And I'm like, man, you'd think so. You'd think so, but
that's what they said about Kings, and they were completely wrong about that, too.
It's going to be, like, even more straight up somehow is what's going to end up happening.
Probably. Because you're going to have no idea what your opponent's doing.
Yeah.
You don't know who your opponent is. How you got to cheese them? You have no idea.
That's so funny.
I mean, honestly, really, there's not even a lot of cheese left in Legacy of the Void at this point. Certainly none that really works all that often.
Yeah, I mean, you start off with more workers, obviously, and the players have gotten to a point, too, where they're so good that fewer and fewer cheeses are working, but they're definitely out there. It is something that can happen, but I love the mental games of ShoutCraft Kings, where it's like, no, it's a best of one, got a huge, awesome audience, and a great prize pool, and I think, to be honest, for the Korean players, it's not even just winning $500. That's nice. They don't think of it that way, though. I feel like they think of it as, I could win $2,500 or $3,000, and that's a weekend tournament. That's a good placing at any one of these tournaments, so that's pretty amazing.
It's a couple months' rent. Can't complain about that. That's pretty important. Enabling pro gamers to actually live in houses, which is a fairly important thing.
It can be.
I would say so. Generally helps them out quite a bit.
Yeah.
A couple stats about Hero, by the way. 7 wins, 5 defeats. Has won about $2,500 in this tournament so far. So he's up there. He's had some really good success against some top players in this event.
And he's more representative of what we've had in ShoutCraft Kings, those 7 wins, 5 losses, like you said. So he's, won, and then a couple of times won another map or 2, and then lost. So that has been the theme in ShoutCraft Kings for the last, 6-7 months, where really good players get up there, but only a few put together streaks. This rogue run that we had is still really impressive to me.
Yeah, considering the caliber he had to go through to do it.
Yeah, he didn't let anything slide.
What's going on here? So we have Hero hiding away, Dark Shrine. We got the Robo Bay making the Warp Prism. Are we looking at DT drop or Archon drop here? What do you reckon?
Yes. It'll be DTs into Archon. Sometimes players were doing this thing where they'd go double Warp Prism, and then it could be even 8 DTs or 4 Archons. I feel like Hero should be playing this pretty safe, just the single Warp Prism, some DTs. As I say it, there's the double Warp Prism.
Yep.
Getting flashy. I actually doubted myself the second I said it, too. I was like, no, this is Hero. What's the flashy version of this build? Well, it's double Warp Prism. Well, I should have said that. That's what he was going to go for.
We've got Chargela being added in, too. This is potentially devastating, but this feels very all-in to me. The amount of commitment to tech on 2 bases, he's got to kill him. Yeah,
he's got to do a lot of damage or just flat-out kill him. And it's going to be a lean out of those DTs first, but this is something that caught Zergs off guard for a while, but we're now a few months into it, and it's been a part of the meta, so Zergs are very comfortable in a number of ways responding. But that being said, if Hero doesn't lose any DTs and just occupies their attention, adds these 4 additional gateways, finishes charge, he can hit a pretty nasty timing here.
Good creep spread from Nerchio has allowed those queens to so far deflect this. Nerchio is also aware of the second prism. It did pass by at least 1 Overlord, but responding to that, that's a trickier concept, because he's mostly just relying on a few roaches and some queens, dealing with DTs, dealing with Archons now as well, and dealing with the micro potential of Hero. This is going to be tricky. If anyone could do it, it'll be Nerchio.
Say the least. And there's that force showing up inside the main base. He can actually just pick off the Spore Crawler. That's exactly what he's going to do.
Nice.
There is a lair, so of course it's not the end of the world, but now attacking the hatchery itself as well. There's no defenses here.
Oh my, this is brutal.
And Hero shows up on the left side with these Archons. The depleted force, not enough to repel this just yet.
Oh, there it goes. He just lost his main hatch 5 minutes into the game. That's a fairly nasty setback.
Yep. So here's what's happening, by the way. I'm a little bit proud of my prediction here, but it is a Spire actually showing up. Not proxy, and not even really at an irregular spot either. But this can pose problems. That being said, this harass has forced out spending from Nerchio, so he doesn't have like 9 larvae and 1,000 minerals and 1,000 gas. It's not going to be this huge burst of mutas. They're going to kind of slow trickle out. And there's 5 Archons, TotalBiscuit.
Yeah.
So it was cool, but I think the picking of the hatch and the harass ended up not being enough. I mean, Hero's he's going to plow him, right?
I would think. I don't see a way of stopping this. This is a wrecking ball.
Yeah. And not the, like, weird Miley Cyrus wrecking ball.
An actual real one, made of etheric warp energy. That kind of wrecking ball. Very unpleasant kind of wrecking ball. Those mutas just are not happy to be alive right now. Don't worry, they won't be for long. Oh my God, that's horrible!
Oh.
I think he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, he's making roaches. He's got a couple of spine crawlers, but those are all band-aids. Those aren't answers that get him anywhere in the game other than another 2 minutes into it or something. I think his Overlord sees there's no third, so in his mind, if he can turn this around and win a big fight here, then he can reset the Protoss and win from there.
That's not gonna happen.
There's just so much. The Archon's even being flanked back here by the lift. He can warp in units.
Oh my god, it's horrible. It's like watching Nexus Wars.
Yeah.
Oh god. I feel.
All right, Joe.
I don't feel comfortable watching this anymore. We're gonna have to put a
Also,
adults-only warning on this stream. Holy crap. Ouch.
Here comes an explanation from Nerchio to you, by the
It's coming on Twitter. You know it is.
Yep.
I mean, you know, nobody, Nerchio, let me just say this, nobody thinks less of you. That was horrific.
Yeah.
Nobody would have been able to stop that.
No, and it was really good, too. The second war person, like you said, all of a sudden Nerchio's in this tough spot. And the other thing here, too, he could have taken the 3 bases that are allotted to him, the natural and the low ramp natural, but he instead took the other base further out, which if he's allowed to do that, he all of a sudden has a 4th base for free because he's already established the harder quote-unquote 4th base. So he got caught being a little bit greedy in his own right. And that's where like when someone's like, Protoss is broken, this is so stupid, I start to laugh a little bit because it's like, well, you tried to get away with something. It didn't work. Had you got away with it, it's not Protoss that's broken. It's the Zerg that's broken in that situation. But Hero not allowing him to get to that stage of the game, probably rightfully so, and is able to get a big win there.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. Wasn't all in, but what a well-executed all in.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hero really lost any units there. I don't recall it really happening. Yeah. God, I'm glad I don't play Zerg anymore. That made me feel uncomfortable as a Terran.
That's terrible.
Just horrendous. Just horrendous.
We're on the Korean server, right?
We are, yes.
Why am I so alone?
Yep, we'll be just flying back over to Korea for a little while, I think. Got a few more players left in this event.
Oh, there we go.
And no doubt going to be interesting and fun contributions to it. Obviously, it's getting very late in Korea, so we are running out of Koreans, I will say that. That tends to happen towards the end of the show. Mostly because we don't want them to play at 4 a.m., because that's unfair.
My fanboyism is peaking. TotalBiscuit, you were...
Yeah, I thought you might like this.
Yes, I do.
yeah, thought you might. Thought a lot of people might as well. It's been a few complaints about a lack of this matchup today, and if we were going to have one...
And this player. People were asking for this player last time, if I remember correctly, as well.
They were. All right, you get him. You get him and you get this matchup. This better be good. That's all I'm going to say. It should be. With the players involved, it bloody well should be. It's kind of a dream match in this regard. The quality of both of these guys going at each other, and something we haven't seen today. It's a PvP, and we got Neeb